Alright, so in this episode, or this quick little episode, well, this one's going to be a bit long, but we're going to go over weapon crafting, armor upgrading. It's fairly simple at this point. There's not a lot to it. It gets more complex later on. Um, but they want you to go here directly after completing Jagras of the Ancient Forest. Uh, you can see that there's two stations in here. This one is about pointless, the armory. She sells you the base versions and basic weapons and armor. So if you select purchase weapons, it has all the weapons listed here. If you select the charge blade, you can see it has Proto Commission Axe 1, which is what we already have. That's what you start with. And there's the Bone Strong Arm 1. Now that's one we can craft. But if you don't want to craft it, you can just buy it. Now the thing is that once you get not even that much further into the game, but once you get a little further in the game, buying is almost pointless because it costs 300 zenny and no resources. I think to craft it, it's cheaper, but it requires resources. But some of these items you should, or some of these resources you should have such a huge pile of that it doesn't matter if you spend 1 or 2 small monster bones to craft them. Like it's pointless. Not to mention her inventory doesn't get very big. Even once you get to the Iceborne content, I think that she'll have access to like 6 weapons, maybe. None of them, not even that. Like maybe less than that. And the same thing with the armor. Starting off, if you didn't choose the Defender armor set, you can now buy it if you want. Again, you can still just craft it. The chainmail and the leather set you can buy, but you should already have these for free, so you don't, even if you choose the leather set, you have the chainmail set. Even though I didn't choose the Defender set, I have the Defender set. And then you do get a few more armor sets, but I think it's the same thing as weapons, like maybe 3 or 4 more, but none of them are that good. Like, and they're not hard to craft, and they're not expensive to make. So, like, yeah, the armor is pointless. It's the most pointless thing. Like, she'll give you some important quests later on for other items, or for items that are very helpful. But other than that, she's pointless. Like, I don't understand the point of the armory at all. The most important thing, and the main thing you're going to be doing here, is the Second Fleet Master, the Smith.
There you are, Fiber.
When you first time you talk to him, he gives you some free resources to practice upgrading. Do not upgrade anything. So you have to select upgrade, and it lists all of your equipment here. Now at this point, there's not a lot. See, there's 3 pages. They always have an extra blank page, and it'll keep growing. Like, I think on my main character, this is up to like 20, because I have so much different armor sets, weapons, pendants, and other items. It's a huge list. So don't think that just because there's only 3 pages means you can only have 3 pages. No, it goes forever. The Defender set, if you're starting off with that, you cannot upgrade until much later. I think that you have to unlock high rank before you can upgrade it, but you can upgrade it, just not for a while. How upgrading works, you find the piece of equipment you want to wear, or you want to upgrade. So like your leather mail, you select it. Come on. And you can see right here, there's armor spheres. There's actually a lot of armor spheres you can get right now. Because I haven't done anything, I only have access to 1. And it's the ones that he gave me. But these ones are, it says armor sphere, it has a yellow 1, and it has the number 2. And then it has a square with a 0. The yellow 1 is how much points they are worth. The 2 is how many you have. And the square with a 0 is how many you are using. Obviously right now I haven't done anything, so it's 0. If I select it and press up, now it's 1, now it's 2, and the 2 went down to 0. Now you also saw the bar fill up and you heard the noise. If you look at the leather mail on the right side, it's level 1, defense 2. Uh, to level it up, it needs 1 point. And if you look below that, it says upgrades remaining 5. Armor sets have a limited number of upgrades, but as you go, as you play the game, and as you unlock, as you increase your rank and unlock new star rankings, that number will increase. So at this time, I can only increase it 5 times, but later on, I'll be able to increase it an additional 3 times or 6 times or whatever. How many times you can increase it depends on the armor rarity and your rank. Higher level armor sets, you might only be able to upgrade once or twice until you until you reach the next milestone. Then you can upgrade it another 5 times, or 3 times, or whatever it is. But at this point, do not upgrade your leather. Your leather is borderline pointless. Yes, you can upgrade it, but it's there's no reason to, because after the very next mission, you're going to be able to craft a bunch of armor that is much better, without upgrading it at all. And now, some people might hear that and say, well, each time you hunt a monster, you unlock new armor, and the armor rating constantly goes up, and which is true, but you don't want to craft all the armor sets. It's borderline pointless. We'll get into that in just a sec. But yeah, for now, save those armor spheres. Armor spheres aren't hard to get, but you're not going to get a lot of them in one go. Not until you reach Iceborne. In Iceborne, you can get a lot of armor spheres very quickly. But at this point, through the base game, you're not. And we'll get into how to get more of those later. So for now, you want to save these until you have an armor set that's actually worth upgrading. So once that's done, I was talking about the defender set. Oh, also under upgrade is your weapons. It's really dumb how they do this. To upgrade and craft weapons is under the same exact menu type, but you can't access everything under each menu. I don't get why. If I want a forged equipment, a weapon, let's select weapon, charge blade. These are the 3 weapons I can craft, or I can forge. Now, if you look at the tree, this is what your crafting tree looks like. This is what the upgrade tree looks like. This is literally the same exact menu as the upgrade tree. Each row is a branch of the tree, and then each column is the next tier of that weapon. So you can see right here we have Defender Shield 1. The next tier of it is Defender Shield 2, which we don't have access to yet. Or we can't even look at under this menu. And again, that's something that doesn't make sense. You can't even look at it under this menu. I don't understand why they did it like this. It seems they made it more convoluted than it needed to be. But anyways, there's the ore tree. Then we have question mark, bone, question mark. As you go through and find more resources, hunt more monsters, these will start filling in. As your rank increases, they will also fill in automatically. And the tree, it expands. It says under development. All that will fill in eventually. And then it expands downward too, or as well. So it becomes a very expansive. But like I said, that with the armor, you could buy these weapons if you wanted to. But look at this. It takes, to craft this new bone weapon, it takes 1 monster bone. It's only 200 zenny. It costs 300 zenny to buy it from her, but it didn't require any materials. And like I said, once you, not even much further into the game, after the next couple of missions, you're going to have so many monster bone smalls, or you should, that it's trivial to craft another one for only 200 zenny. Like, it doesn't make any sense at all. Now, one thing I typically like to do personally is have one of each type, or one of each branch. So I like to have a defender weapon, and then upgraded. I like to have 1 weapon in the ore tree, 1 weapon in this is the water tree, 1 weapon in the poison tree, 1 weapon in the bone, and so forth. I don't think I'm going to do that this time around, and it's actually rather pointless. It's something I just did for my own sake. Like my main character Artorias, with like 300 and whatever hours on, I do that. I have so many charge blades in there because I like crafting all of them. On this playthrough, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to stick with a couple of them, and that's about it. General rule of thumb is, depending on what your play style is and your weapon, you only need a few weapons at any given time. Crafting all of them like I do is very pointless. Some of these weapons have almost no difference between one another. One of them might have a slightly higher damage but worse sharpness or no affinity. Some of them might have lower damage but higher sharpness with affinity. Or some of them might have an element, or some of them might have a defense bonus. They all balance out to be almost the exact same. Brain fart. The biggest difference between them is the element. For charge blades, they use file types, and you can see this one's an impact file. I don't have any access. I don't have access to any, but there's elemental files as well. But I can't look at those yet. I don't have access to them, and that's the main difference between them. But like, you can get, usually the elemental weapons are elemental files, but not all of them. Some of the elemental weapons are impact files, and I believe if it has no element, it's always an impact file. It's it's a little convoluted, it doesn't make sense, but like the point I was trying to make originally was that there's not much of a difference between all of them. Some people swear up and down by some weapons. Like, people just, when it comes to the charge blade, people love the Diablos weapon. They say it has the highest raw damage of all charge blades, and it does, but it also has the highest negative affinity to balance that. And they're like, well, negative affinity doesn't matter because there's ways to counterbalance it. But I'm like, yeah, I'd rather choose a weapon with less raw damage, but with already a higher affinity. So there is no one way to play. It is all about what you prefer and what you enjoy using. If you want to craft every single weapon there is, craft them all. If you only want to craft one or two, only craft one or two. It's up to you. While some weapons are far superior than others, for a lot of them, there's not that much of a difference between them. But this is where you go to forge weapons if you don't want to buy them from the armor. Like I said, the armor is borderline pointless. You should just craft them or forge them. Here's the armor. And this will become huge. Right now we only have access to one screen and only 4 slots. The leather, the chainmail. Oh, we can't craft the defender set. You can only buy it or get it. Well, they give it to us, but yeah, you can't craft it. I thought you could. But new armor sets will appear here, and they are tiered. This is low rank. It doesn't. We haven't covered. I haven't talked about low rank or high rank, but that'll become more apparent, or we'll get into that later. But low rank armor set is here. Oh, got an itch. As you find more monsters, more resources, more armor sets will appear. During the seasonal events, you can they'll just give you the schematic or blueprint, whatever, or the option to craft seasonal equipment, and some of them are pretty cool. Usually the seasonal armor sets are some of the best ones in the game, defense-wise. Skill-wise, maybe not the best, but they're pretty good. So if you want to craft armor, it's here. As you can see, we have 2 new ones, Hunter and Bone. The reason I was saying not to upgrade the leather or chainmail is because if you look, the leather headgear, defense of 2. You go to the Hunter set, it has a defense of 6. The Bone set has a defense of 6 as well. But now, if you also look at it, some armor sets at low rank, not too many of them, but some armor sets have skill bonuses. Now the leather has a hunger resistance. The chest piece has nothing, the gloves nothing, the waist guard nothing, and the boots nothing. Same thing with the chainmail. Except the headset has Master Gatherer. Now, if you go to the Hunter set, it has Scout Fly range up, Slinger capacity, Stealth, Scent Hound, and Barbecue Master. If you go to the Bone, it has Entomologist, Horn Maestro, Slugger, Attack Boost, and Health Boost. This is why this is why I was saying don't upgrade to Leather or Chainmail. If you want to get a nice little early boost, the best thing to do is just craft the Bone, chest piece, and helm, because that gives you a boost to your attack and a boost to your health, which will help you a lot more than just increasing the defense of this up to, what is it? It was 6, I think. Yeah, because it was 5, or so it would have gone up to 7, because it starts off at 2. You could have increased it by 5. So, but if you had the armor spheres, yeah, it wouldn't have been worth it. It would not have been worth it. So save those armor. Like I said, save those armor spheres. So for now, let's go ahead and make the Bone Helm. We get a little cutscene here. And equip now, yes. And then we're going to do the chest piece. And I got lucky, we did have just enough bones. Not enough to make the full set, but that's fine. Because I actually don't want to craft the rest of these. Not yet, at least. Maybe I might later, but not right now. The chest piece, yes. I'm not going to watch the cutscene again. Equip now, yes. And if you want to see what an armor set looks like, you can, oh, lost internet connection. You can press square to preview it. So the Hunter set, that's what the headpiece looks like, chest piece, gloves, waist, and feet. Now if you want to see the whole set, you can just scroll over, like I'm on the head piece right now, press left again, and then I can go to chainmail, press square, and I'll just see what the chainmail looks like. That's what the Hunter looks like. That's what the full Bone set looks like. Now, the thing to note is if you're trying to compare armor, you cannot have an armor set or be previewing an armor set, because as you can see, I had the leather gloves on. If I try and compare it to the Hunter's gloves, if you look at it, I'm comparing the Bone vambraces to the Hunter's vambraces. It'll compare whatever you're previewing. So if you want to compare what you're actually wearing to something, make sure you have nothing, you're not previewing anything. Alright, so they have it. I'm trying to think. I feel like I'm skipping something. That was Forge, upgrade. We didn't look at upgrading weapons. Yeah, we didn't. Oh, so again, this is the upgrade tree, and as you can see, same exact menu as the Forge tree. And again, for some now that I'm here, I can look at what it takes to craft the second tier of these weapons. But if I select on the first tier, the Bone Strong Arm, I can't do anything. It won't show me anything. I can't select it. It's a stupid mechanic. But we have the Proto Commission Axe 1, and we can make the Proto Commission Axe 2. Now, if you look at it, you'll see on the right side of the screen, it's damage, sharpness, affinity, element, and file type. Going from 1 to 2, all you see is damage increase, and then you see the sharpness change. Ooh, excuse me, that was weird. Had a burp come up, but I couldn't actually burp for a second. That was weird. So, for the most part, things go up, so that's an obvious improvement. That's good, you want it. So we'll go ahead and craft it. And there's no, it's weird, there's no cutscene for upgrading your equipment, which, it's weird, but I'm actually thankful, because you upgrade more things than you forge. So it'd be really tedious to sit here constantly seeing that over and over, or having to skip it over and over. But once you upgrade something, the previous tier has this little icon on it. it's really easy to downgrade equipment. Let's say you're not sure if you want to go here or if you want to go here, so you craft this weapon. Yep. So you craft the Proto Commission Axe 3. You're going out, you're using it, you're like, okay, it's whatever, but you want to try this, whatever this water element is. Let's say you know what it actually is and you can craft it. You're like, okay, but I want to try that. But I don't want to start over from Proto Commission Axe 1, upgrade, and then upgrade again. What you can do is downgrade to the previous tier for a small price. Like if I want my Proto Commission Axe 2 to Axe 1, it's only 10 Zenny. And whatever resources I use to craft the Proto Commission Axe 2, you get those back, which is very, very helpful because some of these weapons are very, very expensive to make. Resource-wise, they require very high level items. So if you craft a weapon and you're like, I really don't like it, I don't think I'm going to use it, you can downgrade it, get those items back, and use it for something else like armor or necklaces, pendants, or whatever. So it's a very useful mechanic. So okay, yeah, this sucks because, well, I don't even think I can. Yeah, I think I can make a bone weapon, but I don't think I can upgrade it. Yep, I don't have enough small bone. That's fine. No. Upgrade. So I mentioned before you could sort your equipment, and I forgot to actually show that. If you click R3, you can sort by all these different criteria. This is weapons. If you hit L1 or R1, it switches to armor. Typically, you go by category. You can select your weapon, and now it sorts them by charge blades, and then it'll sort them by however they were in here next. Very, very useful, very nice feature. It speeds things up a lot because you can hit R3, go to armor, go to category. I want to look at my charms. You select it. I don't have any charms, but then it would have sorted everything by charms. So it's very, very nice. And you can do different combinations of them, because once you sort things by category, by charge blade, you can hit R3 and then sort it by rarity. And you can see my charge blades are still here. They're still at the front, but the weapons became switched out with the armor. Even though everything has a rarity 1, when you sort by rarity, it prioritizes weapons. But there's all sorts of different ways you can do it. It's cool. Anyways, the bone strong arm, you can select it. Like I said, I don't have the monster bones to upgrade it, so I can't do it, but that's fine. But now we can also get a little peek at what some of the other upgrades are. You can see for the ore tree, I know what one of them is, but we need more iron ore. Well, actually I have enough. Oh no, I don't. I need more. The second one, the blue one, is Machalite ore. And I can't remember what the first one is. But it'll let you get a little peek at everything. Right, like for the third tier of the bone weapon, I need one ancient bone and then something else. I know that's the boulder bone, which you don't get to the next environment, or we don't get to the next map. But this is how you upgrade. If you use a bowgun, you have to customize your bowgun in here. I've dabbled with the bowgun a little bit. I didn't like it, so I don't really know this. But you can go in here, and there's mods you can put on. How many mods you can equip depends on your weapon. It's a lot. Yeah, this is a lot right here. If you play with the bowgun, God bless you. If you use the insect glaive, this is where you manage your kinsects. The insect glaive uses kinsects to attack and do other things, and this is where you manage them. This is very similar to the other, to the upgrade one, or to upgrade and forging. You can't actually forge them, but you can purchase. See, the same exact thing, but you just can't look at a tree. And then there's Nurture. You select it, and this is the same exact as the upgrade tree. So if you're going to use the Insect Glaive, not only do you have to upgrade your weapon, you have to upgrade your Kinsect as well. From here, you can also change your equipment. You can do the Hunter or your Palico. Then, speaking of Palico, you can also forge Palico equipment. Now, you can honestly, if you want, go through the whole game and never upgrade your Palico's equipment. I do not recommend it. It's not smart, but you can. The Palico, while useful, isn't game-changing. You will see him do things at times and be like, "Oh, thank God, I can't." That was lucky, or that was perfect timing, or whatever. But there's also times where they're going to stand around and you're going to be like, "Why aren't you doing anything? Help me! Help me! Help me!" So it's really hit and miss with them. For now, I would not worry about crafting any equipment for them. Obviously, you can if you want to. But the changes in their weapon and armor isn't as obvious as it is with your hunter equipment. Some of their weapons, like even high-ranking weapons, will have fairly low melee damage, but high range damage, or vice versa. And then there's some that neither of them are very low, but they're both decent, like they're right in the middle. So it just depends on what you want them to do. Typically, a lot of people just whatever has on average the highest offense and defense, that's what they use. They're more useful to use status ailment weapons, so like poison, paralysis. That's more useful than anything, because they're not really going to do, like I said, they're not going to do anything that big. Just every now and then they might do something helpful, but they're not that big. The main thing that they're going to do is use their gadget, which we'll get to later, and draw aggro at times. Sometimes they'll draw aggro and it'll leave you time to heal, whetstone, whatever, and that's the most important thing they do. If they die, it's like a 5-second cooldown, and they just respawn back in the fight. No, there's no penalty for them dying. Yeah, so weapons for them, not that big of a deal. But we're not going to craft anything for them until later. And I believe that is everything for crafting. It becomes more complex. We can get access to more things later on, but I mean that's the basis of it. Once something new opens up, it's pretty much the same thing. It's just opens up another tab. That's all. But that's going to wrap up crafting, and I hope you found it useful, and I will see you next time.